The growing illegal immigration crisis in America will be one of the major issues galvanizing voters to the polls this year. Both candidates' border policies are coming under the microscope, and now a new survey reveals nearly half of the country supports setting up militarized encampments for undocumented migrants. But 50% are against the idea. Bringing it down by party, nearly 80% of Republicans support it, while just over 20% of Democrats do. Joining me now are immigration lawyer Renata Castro and Art Del Cueto, Vice President of the National Border Patrol Council. Good morning to both of you. Art, let me start with you just because you've had a front row seat to the border crisis. You and I have talked several times over the last 4 years. Militarized camps does have a harsh ring to it, but nearly half of Americans support it. Do you support this idea, and what would those even look like?
Look, I absolutely support the rule of law and getting a lot of these individuals that have entered the country illegally, or a lot of these individuals that have entered illegally, asked for asylum, and people don't know where they're at. So obviously I support trying to find out where these individuals are, find out what their true intentions are, letting them get their day in court and find out if they really do have an asylum claim, which a lot of us know the majority of them don't have one. Now, you're absolutely right. The problem is the media does a great job of saying, hey, militarized camp, or using the military, and it makes people kind of scared because they don't know what it would look like. But realistically, I think it's assistance from the military in order to be able to find where all these individuals are. It's just obviously you're going to have people that are going to use it and for their own narrative and twist how the words sound.
Renata, let me get your take on the legality of this. I mean, we haven't seen militarized encampments for immigrants since World War II, when roughly 120,000 Japanese Americans were forced to live in them under the Alien Enemies Act. Would this be legal today to enforce?
If we follow the rule of law that has been well established by the Supreme Court, no. We do not need to invoke a rather discriminatory law to go back to a very dark time in American history, where of the 120,000 Japanese and Japanese Americans who were detained, 2/3 were U.S. citizens who were, in fact, paid reparations because of the discriminatory way that the law was carried. I am glad to hear that the representative from ICE agrees that the rule of law needs to be followed, because that's why we have immigration courts. What we need more than a militarized border is a more effective and revamped asylum law that doesn't require the inhumane process of presenting oneself at the border at risk of being killed, kidnapped, the horrors you hear from these individuals who have valid claims trying to seek asylum is quite horrendous, and we need to change the law.
And Renata, let me just follow up with you. Why couldn't this work? Why couldn't this be our Ellis Island, if you will, where they're able to make their way over, stay in one place with food, medical services, legal services, and become citizens? Why could this specific way not work?
In my professional opinion and experience, the most effective way to run asylum petitions would be to use American consulates and embassies abroad, so that the American government is not bearing the cost of housing, of medical care for the millions of individuals who are seeking asylum in the United States. Today, this is a problem that's much broader than just the Mexico-U.S. border. In fact, we have a spike in crossings from Canada, but somehow this is not well reported because it's not an issue that Americans throughout the United States think is happening today. So in order to have a more effective and efficient way of carrying out asylum law, we need immigration reform now more than ever.
And Art, let me just ask you one more question. Trump's border policy also includes a mass deportation of 11 million undocumented migrants. Something tells me that's easier said than done. What would that take in terms of resources and money to achieve something like that?
I think it would take an all-out effort. It would take an all-out effort from other and various law enforcement agencies to help. And I'm glad the attorney is saying, look, just entering the country and getting released is not a proper way of seeking asylum. They need to seek asylum in their country, and there needs to be some kind of way that you can have, the immigration officers and attorneys in those countries, in the consulates, because just coming across, asking for asylum and getting lost in society is not the proper way to do it. And I will remind people, look, it's not a racial thing. At the end of the day, the administration has announced that they have detained individuals from 160 different countries. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Illegal is not a race.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. Also, don't forget to click that red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.